beyond the imagination, and quickly I would retreat. I followed them into the woods, silently moving so as to not be seen. The mysteries of their blood I wished to interpret immediately. Going over it in my head as I creeped, not able to understand how he regained his strength. I'd almost sucked him dry after piercing his throat with my teeth. After 3 long days of hiking, we were finally at their village, on a mountainside right in the open. I waited for them to sleep before I entered this place. Exploring a bit while they slumbered, I was in awe at what things I would see. Art and other wonders that were exquisite even to me. In a room all by itself, I found my favorite piece. It was a mask made of wood and covered in precious stones. It was quite ugly, but would most likely strike fear because of the unknown. Not paying attention, the sun was almost up and the village was stirring. I was stuck in blind illusion while admiring their paintings. From behind me somehow come a sneaking native. Surprised I was by a spear thrusting through my back and out through my chest cavity. Around I turned and pulled the spear clean through. Through his leg I used to pin him to the ground, his screams bringing the whole village to. Suddenly I noticed a shine to these people's eyes, something I believed was almost animal-like, and they were also very angry with me. I pulled the spear from the ground, accidentally severing important arteries. He bled out fairly quickly, you see. The villagers began to scream as the cries of pain disappeared, several of them attacking me without revere. I didn't want to kill them, so I stiffly pushed them away, and then I saw something familiar in their crowd. A much younger version of a shaman came out, raising his hand as his spells came from his mouth. This was nothing like before. Maybe his youth made his magic weak, but I walked right up to him and pushed him off his feet. Many fled out of fear, but the brave few stayed, and they surprised me yet again. One of them spoke English very well, a wonderful surprise indeed. As I had just mentioned, they would all perish if they attacked me again. The voice of this native was like music to my ears, and her beauty had no measure, but what she told me was quite disappointing. It seemed they all drew their power and their strength from their shaman, and their shaman drew his power from a pack of wolves nearby. It got worse as she continued to describe what they were to me. She revealed so much so quickly, and as if she was just as curious as me, which she couldn't possibly know my curiosity's height. Oops. As she said, the pack of wolves were being killed off by the opposite tribe. Much to my own dismay, I had to take the entire tribe's life. Learning that their powers were fueled by the wolves, after revealing so much, I felt an urge to reveal about myself. But in my sad time here, I still hadn't learned exactly what I may be. We've all read the stories off centuries, vampires, werewolves. I am neither, I'm afraid. My hunger for human blood is all I can explain. You see, from my body I drank dry. My own strength and speed would multiply. I explained to her with that which I could tell her. They're creatures of the night, such as vampires and werewolves. But I was not either, nor am I completely different, but also so far from being the same. A vampire's heart stopped beating, and their life is destroyed by a wooden stake to the heart, or by beheading. Werewolves, even though the origin even to me is still sketchy, they don't age at the price forever changing. But most of this I'm sure you already know. My heart still beats and my lungs still breathe. I do not age, and I am faster and stronger in every way. The only thing we share is our lust for pain. But in truth, after 547 years of life, my greatest curse is quite simple. I have no clue what I really am. As I explained all this to her, she seemed immensely intrigued, questioning me about everything, like a scientist on the brink of discovery. But sadly, her inquiries were too simple. They were the questions of an ancient people, or so they are now to me. Like any man, though, I started to feel for her attention and her beauty, and her undying interest in learning me everything about me. I spent 10 years with them, teaching them the things they were hindered from by oceans between, protecting them from outsiders and tribes that would take her away from me. But unfortunately, a time came where I would have to go away. She eventually became obsessed with becoming just like me. Once she had finally broke me and I gave in, I never realized how many mistakes lie within. For when that day came that I had agreed to give her the change, the shaman stole her life force away. Filled with pain and rage from this, I lost control and removed the entire tribe from existence on that day. Once again stuck in a world without beauty stolen, I turned back to continue my previous quest, and I would return to the old world in which way my life was changed. From here, my friends, we will be speaking of 100 years of absolute rage. Ta-da!